Okay, here I am. I believe it's the correct time. It is. It looks like noon time on the east coast of the United States to me, even though I'm technically not on the coast. I always feel like I'm on the coast. I will say this. TikTok just said my connection is poor. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I think I've got an okay connection here, but we'll roll with it. Maybe a lot of people are on the interwebs and things like that. So, hello, welcome. It has been a while since I've done a TikTok live because I was, as I like to say, off the digital grid, traveling. But I am here. I am back and I'm here to help you. This week, especially, because this is going to be where even the best laid plans of mice and men tend to be a little bit askew as far as, yes, hello again, Jen B. and Trisha and people who, you know what, I'm a human being. I turned on to do a TikTok live at the wrong time. Vacation was wonderful. Thank you for asking, Millie. It was really fun. Love the warm weather, but glad to be back. Glad to be back. My husband is putting up the little Christmas lights, the little candles. I don't know if you can see them. We got those like old timey, I love them, those little plastic candeliers, I think they call them back in the day. And, but yeah, glad to be kind of getting back in the swing of things. So this week, and I'm just checking because I am getting, we were in Cancun, Mexico. Had never been there before, might go back again. I just am all about the warm weather. So yes, just getting back. And hey, Erin, I was going to text you, but thank you. I just picked up the mail and awesome. You're so cool. Thank you so much. So nice to see you. And so nice to see everybody. This is the week. This is the week before Christmas. This is the week before maybe Hanukkah's happening. I'll be honest, I don't know what the dates are. Don't judge me. This is kind of what I like to think of the calendar as kind of a circle. This is how it looks in my head. And to me, for whatever reason, we're at the bottom of the circle where we've got December into New Year and then up again until, of course, we hit the sunshine. So we are at the end. Yeah, those colors, man, they get me. They just cheer me up, much like most of our Christmas decor here in the hacienda, as we like to call our house, is kind of colorful and fun. So that was really cool. Thank you. So I'm here to give you some support, to give you some encouragement, to remind yourself to breathe, and to share with you, and I'll probably be saying this a lot this week because I was on some coaching calls this morning, is to remind you of that kind of the Grinch who stole Christmas is all about when you're focusing too much on how the stuff and how it looks versus how it feels. Okay. Now I'm a decluttering life coach, so of course my emphasis is going to be on what is the stuff that you have, do you really want it or not? And again, all that's completely up to you. But the important thing about this time of year is to just remember what it's all about. And it's all about feeling better than you do now. Maybe dare say feeling good. I love it. German Made 95 says, gave away a bunch of items on a Facebook free page. And German Made 95, I would venture a guess or maybe ask you, how did that make you feel when you were giving away a bunch of items on a free page? I have really begun to love that feeling of when I have too much and I can help somebody with my abundance. I love that feeling. So I feel good. They feel good. I remember once I was walking home. I take downtown. This is one of the things I will say I missed being on vacation. We were at a place where I could not go out for a morning walk, and boy, did that jam me up. Well, I could go for a morning walk, but the place was so small I would be just walking back and forth. But I remember once last year, now my hands get cold all the time. I swear that's why I am, hugging. My sister and my nieces and nephew make fun of me because I'm always like, ooh, Auntie Beth. And she's like always hugging her teacup. And it's because my hands get cold. But I remember last year, it was a cold day and I was on my morning walk and I was on my way home. And I walked past somebody who was standing at the bus stop and she was like standing there. And I noticed her hands were bare. And I said, oh my God, your hands must be freezing. And she's like, yeah, they kind of are, whatever. And I pulled off my gloves and I was like, here, have these. You're waiting here for the bus. I'm like 10 minutes from home and I have more pairs of gloves at home. And, as German Made says, I love that someone else can use an item I no longer need. And just remind yourself of the good feeling it feels to give somebody a gift, but also that that gift isn't really about the thing, it's about the feeling in your heart. Okay? Yeah, Cat Mama says it feels good when knowing stuff will be used. Lots of family decline because they have their own stuff. Yes, the gift can be a feeling. The gift can be something that doesn't stick around for long. Maybe it's food, maybe it's a gift certificate to something, an experience, something that is non-tangible or doesn't have a long shelf life can be really wonderful. I was looking when I was traveling I read all my books on vacation. I didn't read them all, actually. I got them from like a free little libraries around town, and some of them I was like, I'm not into this book. So what I ended up doing, I'll share this with you, is I have, when I'm working with my one-on-one clients, I talk about this and I call it your travel guide. It's basically a gratitude journal, but also just kind of a daily journal of the stuff you've done and the things you've done. And one of the things I realized in reading the stuff I had done is how good it can make you feel to just do some little things, There we go. Yeah, Sweet Low 15 says I gave a Christmas tree away via Facebook group today. It was new and in my basement. Felt good to help. This is why I'm a decluttering life coach. And if we haven't met before, I apologize. I kind of jumped right in because I've been off the TikTok grid for about a week, but my name is Beth. Destination Decluttered is my coaching. I do one-on-one coaching with people on Zoom. Can you tell how rusty I am from talking out loud for so long? But I do one-on-one coaching, but I also do these TikTok lives. And this week I'm here to help you prep for and remind yourself of what's important at every time of year, but especially at this time of year. Okay. Gabrielle is saying, expecting my first child, or Gabrielle, expecting my first child and so overwhelmed with how much stuff I will need to bring in my home. Yeah. Okay. I have heard that from other moms, and it can be a lot. It is totally different. Now, I'm looking around my house. I don't have children or grandchildren or things like that there. However, I do know that the smaller the kid, the bigger the accessories. What I want to offer to you is maybe even now, before the baby is even born. Now, I'm not saying deny yourself. I'm not saying get into a feeling of lack. But ask yourself, what's the right amount of items that you need and want for your child, and to kind of pay attention as best you can to get out of that excess feeling. And I bet you have friends and family who they're so excited about this event, they want to give you things. Maybe ask them if they can give you something that is less taking up of the space and more of stuff you could actually use, Best of luck with all of that, and how exciting. Congratulations. But think of this. This is one of the things that I talk about to my one-on-one clients, but I also want to share with you is quality, not quantity, but also that the quantity of items that you have in your house and in your life, how that makes you feel. Now, I just came back from a vacation. My husband and I had never been at a resort. We travel differently than a lot of folks. We just do what we do. And we had never been at a resort, and we had never really been at an all-inclusive resort. Closest thing was earlier this year, we were invited, he played on a cruise. So that notion of abundance, of you can have anything whenever you want, anything to eat, anything to drink, that was an interesting place to be in, because we didn't have the excuse of, oh, we don't want to spend money on it, because the money had already been spent. If anything, it was like we should kind of get our money's worth. Woo! Let's just say I took some of that home with me. It felt fun and good until it didn't, and then it started to feel heavy and weighed down, and I am really excited to come back home, and as my husband and I both just said, we got to deflate. Okay, so now, Annette, you are saying you feel so overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. You are not alone. So just know that, feel that, hear that here, but let that trickle down into here and realize you're not alone. So many people, every time I start a TikTok live, The I feel so overwhelmed and don't know where to start is kind of like the number one single with a bullet, as Casey Kasem would say, or on the American Top 40, the Destination Decluttered Top 40. That's the number 1 and 2 song of it all. And what I would love for you to think of, this is how I coach, is you have an overwhelming thought in your head. This is so much that gives you a feeling in your body. My shortcut is I call it your heart, but it can be your heart, but this kind of is your nervous system down here from the neck down. But there is a way, there are tools you can use, and I will offer one right now, to get yourself feeling less overwhelmed and more in the zone of I can do something. And the first thing I want to offer everybody, including myself, to do is to remind yourself of that connection between your head and your heart and your mind and your body, and that your body is the one that makes you feel overwhelmed. You do the feeling here. You may feel it up here, but man, do you feel it in your body? So think about that and calm down your nervous system. Now, I say this because I think of the word over, and I'm always working in opposites. So I think of down, and I think calm down your nervous system. Take some deep breaths. So get some oxygen down into your lungs, and then take the unhelpful, in with the good air, out with the bad air. Blow out what does not serve you. Get your shoulders, if they're up like this, down. Slow down, calm down, breathe down. Feel better in your body. And then you will feel better in your head, and then you can write things down and chunk things down so you feel better. But before you even start, what I want to offer is, this is the way I coach, is think of your life, think of this journey from where you are now to your destination decluttered as just that, as a journey, as a road trip, as a destination you're excited to get to. As a destination that when we went on a destination vacation, we went to a destination, we were excited to get there, and we did things we normally would not do to get there. We saved up money. We got up wicked early. We bought new clothes. I don't know. We did different things to get to a place we wanted to go to. Okay? And before any of us start, it's really helpful, I believe, because boy, has it transformed my life, in saying not so much where I am, but where do I want to be? What do I want my home, for example, if you're decluttering, what do I want my home to look like? But even more importantly, how do I want to feel? So I ask you this, how do you want to feel, everybody? How do you want to feel in the next few days? How do you want to feel? And I'll probably be extra emphasizing Christmas because that's what I celebrate. How do you want to feel the night before Christmas, the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? Write that down. How do you want to feel? Regardless of how it looks. Did you get all the stuff? Does it look good enough to make a reel, to put on Pinterest? Whatever. How do you want to feel? Now, I know myself, I want to feel calm. I want to feel not crabby. I want to feel physically a little bit deflated so I can eat the delicious foods at the parties we're going to have. I want to feel present. I want to feel love. I want to feel love, giving it out, receiving it, appreciation, gratitude. Writing those things down will help you figure out what's important, what's going to help you get there, and what's going to stop you. Okay? So just think about that. Alrighty. Cat Mama says, took a year to clean out my mom's house, now working on mine, very slow. Hey, that's great. You know what I say? Much like when you're driving, when you're on the highway, there's lanes, everybody's in their own car, you're on your car. Drive at a pace that feels right to you. Now, if you're going slower than you'd want, question that. Say, why am I going so slow? If you're going kind of speeding along and just, I'm just going to pitch it all and I'm going to get a dumpster and notice that too. And find a groove like that. I keep on saying that road trip vibe of you're cruising along, you're getting there, it's easy, you're in flow, the song's on, you're enjoying it, it feels good. figure out a pace that works for you. And if very slow right now works for you, honor that. Trisha's saying, I used Facebook Marketplace to sell multiple unnecessary items I had stored in plain sight. Yes, storing in plain sight is the opposite of people think out of sight, out of mind. Oh, please. I have dealt with enough ADHD people and people with hoarder tendencies that it can be in sight and completely out of mind, right? So notice that about yourself. All right, Deb is saying, mail is my downfall. If it goes in a file, I will never come out and I'll forget about it. Okay, then stop that process. I love doing this. I love breaking apart stuff that doesn't work to create something that does. So you have a process, you have a mail process that isn't giving you the result you want. So if it goes into a file, it will never come out, so get questionable. Don't file anything that you need to take action on. Anything that should be filed should be the action is done. And then you don't have to worry about it. You can forget about it because you've already taken the action. So notice that. Mystical Poncho is also saying, boy, am I glad I found your page. So if you are just meeting me for the first time, consider dropping me a follow. Follow my Facebook page here, Destination Decluttered. When you do that, when you get to like I guess I would call it like my homepage for TikTok, is you will also see that there's a link there, destinationdecluttered.com/links. There's a bunch of links there. You can sign up for my free mailing list. You could schedule a TikTok or a consultation for one-on-one coaching, but I haven't opened up my calendar yet, so I'm going to write that down. Calendar ? Because I don't know about you, I'm not gonna freak you out and give you yet one more thing to do between now and the new year. So I may not even open up my calendar for consultations. We only have, what day is today? The 19th. We've got 11 days left, 12 days left, and a lot going on. So I will definitely have my coaching calendar open for the new year. But in the meantime, let's focus on you. Let's figure out what we can do now to help you get from where you are to where you want to go, clutter-wise and otherwise, okay? Also, if you do know people who are struggling with clutter and they're on TikTok, maybe you can share it with them. The other thing is, too, is if they're not on TikTok, my TikTok lives are downloaded from TikTok and then uploaded onto Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I also do post some videos on Instagram and Facebook, but they're pretty much repeats of the recorded ones that I do here. So if you're here on my TikTok page, you're the best place, okay? Okay, L Prince says, something you've said that I love, thank you, is categories. Categories. I'm all about categories. Pick a thing of each color, for example, and deal with them. Yes, make it fun for you. Even if you don't know if you have ADHD or not, it can help everybody to make decluttering more fun and less choreful. Do you remember what it feels like when you were a kid to be like, you got to clean your room, you can't go having fun, you can't go walk downtown and buy lip gloss at, what was that, Carol Cosmetics, I think. Can't go buy some kissing potion that smelled like spearmint or bubblegum or Bonnie Bell lip smacker. I'm a Gen Xer, I'm totally dating myself right now, I know. But you can't have fun until you do your chores. And I say, okay, well, how about this? Why don't we flip it? Why don't we make the chores fun so you don't mind doing them? And also then you can then go do your fun stuff. Okay? There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Julie Knox Realtor says, I love planners. My coach said plan 4 one-week vacations for the new year. We can add declutter time. Yeah, you can do the same thing. I will say this. My husband and I came back from this vacation, so we were gone for longer than we usually do. We don't really have a set vacation schedule because we travel in all different ways. But what we both realized was there was a certain amount of time that felt right to the both of us to be away from whatever we do. And this was slightly longer. So do what feels right to you. If you want 4 one-week vacations, that's great. We're thinking of taking some long weekends because we don't mind coming back to what we do. We both love it, which is it hasn't always been that way. So boy, do we appreciate it. So do what feels right to you. But yes, make the time, schedule the time, plan for your decluttering only so you can say you did some and then you can stop it and then you can go do something you love. Okay? Star Trek Mama says, do you have any apps you recommend? I struggle with starting. You know what? I'll be honest with you. Not really. And that isn't to say that there aren't some out there. Maybe somebody in the comments can help this. I find that the starting really has to happen in here and in here, regardless of the app. I will say that some things work for me for a while and then they don't. So you may find some things that externally prompt you to do things. I mean, as easy as setting a reminder, on your phone. I just did. I don't know if you saw this, but I did 3 videos before I left on my trip to about 3 different ways you can use your cell phone to get you started. That's just the physicality of getting up and getting your body moving. But if your head and your heart don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. God knows I spend enough of my own time scrolling on TikTok at night where I'm just like, I'm done. So just notice that. Okay. Yes, Catherine says long weekends are the bomb. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, there we go. Some folks are mentioning some things like that. So there we go. Dog Lover is saying, I use Varage sales at Nextdoor to start selling my items. I've already sold my first 2 things. Awesome. Yay. Yes, I'm Catherine, Bonnie Bell Lip Smackers. I know. This friend of mine has a big old chapstick from, I think it's one of the natural food companies around here. And I was like, oh my God, that totally looks like a Bonnie Bell Lip Smacker. She's like 5 years younger than me, so I don't know if she knew what I meant. Okay. Stacy says, you mentioned making a list, checking it twice, and breaking it down. Can you talk about that? Yes, I would love to. So here's my approach to this. So I have, I think lists, getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. And I say paper because I'm old school, but basically in a place where you can see them is going to be the most important first step. It's kind of like you're just doing a brain dump. You're getting it all out of you and just seeing what you're dealing with. When you see it, when you're just not looking from your eyes up into your brain and saying, oh, I should do this. And every good project, everything in the world has happened because somebody got their thoughts out of their head and taken the first step and wrote down those things. Okay, you prefer paper too. Awesome. So I do that because I'm old school. And so I will do this. I will do sometimes just a brain dump of all the things that I feel like I have to do, or want to do, So even that, notice I just made 2 categories. Stuff I have to do, stuff I want to do. So you could try that. Fold a piece of paper in half. I'm all about that. My clients know. I can always tell if I've been coaching because I have a workbook for everybody. And I will literally say, okay, take a piece of paper and fold it in half. And that's basically just to get you 2 columns. So how about this? Stuff I have to do for 2024 or before the holidays. Stuff I want to do before the holidays. Have to and want to. Write that stuff down. Then find other categories. Is this something that has to do with other people? Is it about a food I have to make? Or not even have to make, but what are some common threads between things? Are they about getting your house looking good? Is it about finding something to, having to do some shopping? Find those categories that you can bunch things under so you can see where these lie. And the more that you can get your thoughts, and I'm talking, it's the mundane thoughts of to actions you want to happen, to the deep thoughts of why can't I let go of this item even though I know I don't, if I know I don't want it up here, but down here I'm not getting rid of it, there's something there, start to write that stuff down. Nobody needs to see these notes you write to yourself or your lists of things to do or your brain dumps of your unhelpful thoughts then converted into more helpful thoughts. Nobody needs to see this except for you. And so don't let the fear of somebody else seeing it stop you from this. But what you can do is you can learn about what's going on up here that affects what's here and vice versa. This will dance between your head and your heart, or your brain and your nervous system, however you want to frame it. And the more you understand about what's going on in the background, the more you realize what is catching you when it's like an unhelpful thought that's stopping you, or it's a habit you just have. Okay? A lot of this is kind of going from the deep end of the pool to the shallow end of the pool and just knowing yourself more. Like, for example, how can I give an example? Like, when we were on vacation, I know that I prefer to eat certain foods, and I realize that certain foods I like to eat because they are tasty, but also because sometimes I get a rumbly tumbly on vacation. So I try to pay attention to what I'm eating because I don't want to feel, sick. So I do that, and I have a habit of gravitating towards certain things. you know. What else can I say? Like, we are decorating. I say we are decorating for the holidays. My husband's doing a lot of it right now because I'm doing coaching and stuff like that. But I have certain decor that I enjoy doing parts of the decorating process more than the others. He's all about the tree. I could care less if we even have a tree. What I did instead was I took our ornaments. I think I did a TikTok video on this last year. Maybe I'll do one again this year. Is I took all of our kind of sentimental ornaments. And one year I bought this giant round fake wreath. And then I wired all the sentimental ornaments around there because I didn't want to take them on and off the tree all the time. And so we just do this and we hang that up. And every year we look at it and I fluff it out a little bit and maybe I add something. That's how I do that decluttering. And that's how I do my holidays. So ask yourself, is the way you're doing your holidays now, how are you feeling right now about that? And just do a gut check. How am I feeling? Am I feeling good? Feeling in the spirit? Feeling overwhelmed? Feeling stressed out? Pissed off? You know? You can do something about that. And maybe this year isn't a real lot of stuff you can do, but you can remember how you felt and say, I don't want to feel this way again next year. You can plan in advance. When I'm working with my clients, I mean, I'm a life coach, but boy, howdy, man, I'm also an organizational coach and a person who helps to get stuff done. So I have my clients, including myself, putting notes on our digital calendars for next year to say, remind yourself next year at this time, this is when you should start doing this. You know? And set yourself up for success. If you're not feeling how you want to feel about your stuff and your clutter, you can do something about it. That's what I want to tell you. Here, feel you don't know what to do. You can do something. All of us, any of us can do something. Okay? And I do that to encourage you, to remind you, to awaken in you that dormant reminder of, that's right, I can do stuff. I have done stuff before. I can do stuff again. Okay? Somebody just said something about, somebody sent me a rose. Thank you for the roses. What else do we have here? I got a few other things here. All right. Gutting granddaughter stuff over the weekend. More tonight. She is 7 and lives with me. Okay. Yeah, kiddos. I was thinking about this today and I had a conversation with a one-on-one client about how kids grow out of their stuff. They grow out of their clothes. They grow out of their toys. We as adults, we are the same way. The stuff that excited us 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago, doesn't necessarily excite us that same way. Maybe it does, but some things probably don't. And that's what we're talking about, decluttering. I mean, I'll share with you, the place that we stayed on vacation was a little bit more like, what's that thing? Because I never went on it, like a spring break type of thing. Not my jam, but some people dig it. That's fine for them. But notice what works for you and notice what doesn't. And do more of what works for you and less than what doesn't. Okay? Dorothy is saying, this year we got a smaller tree because I have like 10 bins for decor and half for our old 9-foot tree. Okay, so notice the quantity and quality of items you have. I did kind of a decluttering of my own Christmas stuff a couple of years ago because I realized I was dragging my feet and dreading it because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed because I had done such a good job of collecting and thrifting and getting some really kitschy Christmas stuff because we used to have a blowout Christmas party every year. I really liked the collecting of the stuff. I don't know if this resonates with anybody. I really liked the collecting of the stuff. But then the displaying of the stuff was kind of fun. But at a certain point, then I was like running out of space. Like, oh my gosh, where do I put these 3 wise men? Where does this kitschy little nativity scene go? Oh, I have even more, what do you call them? Holiday snow globes. Instead of becoming fun, it became a task. And to me, that wasn't the energy I wanted to bring to the holidays. So these things were still really cool. I loved them, but I just said, this is too much for me. And I made up a care package, and I knew my sister would love these things because she's into that kitschy stuff too. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to love this. And I wrapped it kind of like you do with a gift, with that expectation and the love of and looking forward for somebody. And I shipped them off to her, and she had a great time with them. This is the same thing you can do with items you even just donate, is this was awesome, but I am done with it now. And I'm going to send it out into the world and know that it's going to connect up with somebody who could really use it. Okay? Okay. Tamara Arthur says last year was the worst. Sick and husband passed. This year, a little better. A little better. Right? Yeah. A little better is a little better. I would take solace in that. Yeah, it's going to be tough. And you already know that. I don't have to tell you that, but my heart goes out to you. And savor the little betters. Let the tears come, let the feels feel, and know that a little better is pretty good. And it doesn't mean you didn't love, your husband if you're feeling better. But the holidays, oh boy, I've been doing some coaching this week. The holidays bring up feelings. This month is different. These last few weeks of the year feel different for all of us. It's the end of a year. What were the hopes we had at the beginning of 2023? Did they happen? What are we looking forward to in the new year? Do we think it's going to happen? We're a year older. I just was in a bathing suit this year. This first time for quite a while. Our bodies change. Yep, our bodies change. Just notice that, okay? But hang in it. Okay, Maria is saying not feeling in the spirit. Feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, can be a lot. And like I'm behind. Yeah. Okay. Behind to me is such a relative term. Behind what? Maybe you thought you were going to be further ahead. Maybe you had an internal schedule of where you thought you'd be on, Tuesday the 19th. Okay. And you're not there. That's okay. Rejigger your expectations. Stop what you're doing now. Minimize your expectations. Make them more doable so you feel better, so you get a little bit in the spirit. Now, I will admit to you, and my husband will say it, I often, because I worked for decades in retail, this was the worst time. Then I was working a lot in management and offices. And so I was tired by the time it came around to Christmas. And so I didn't always have the best energy. And what I realized what really helped me was to do it fewer things, but really enjoy what I was doing. So like when I got off this call in this afternoon, after I go check our P.O. box, I'm going to put up like this little, what is it? It's like this vintage, I made it ceramic tree with the little plastic lights on it, right? So I will put up that tree. Basically, I will take something out of the box. I will put it over there. I will plug it in. I will light a candle. We'll put some Christmas music on. That sounds good to me. I have a few other things that I'll kind of parcel around, but I have lowered my quantity of items and expectations so that I can increase the quality of how I feel. Because it could look great with all this stuff around, but if I'm being a bitch doing it and I'm not feeling good, it's not worth it. Okay? So Maria, you got this. Make it more like how you want to feel. Okay? Just do that. Okay. Yes, Result Slayer is saying, I'm still learning to stay in the present moment. The present. Notice how we're having a present. The present moment, staying grateful. Yeah. We are all alive. We made it to today. We have something to be grateful for. And I love the fact that I was working with a client earlier today, since we're kind of on like the whole spirit of Christmas and stuff like that. Really think about the Grinch who stole Christmas. Everybody gives the Grinch, like he gets all the cred, right? He's this big green guy. Maybe looks good. You know who really needs to get some cred? Those freaking who's down in Whoville, who looked around and said, I don't have any things, that he stole all the stuff. They still felt the spirit in them. They felt the feeling of what it really means. And, I think it's really important to remember it's not about the stuff. Somebody can take away your tree and all your ornaments and you don't have a gift, but if you've got love in your heart, that is the most important thing. Okay? Yeah, Susan Porter is saying, working in corporate office for a large retail company, but now I'm so over it. Yeah, you've probably been over it since July like we were. Okay? Yes, and simplicity is okay for Christmas decor. I mean, trust me, I love looking at maximalism. My eyes and my rods and cones, I'm like, whoa. So I used to think I wanted that for my home. Maybe I'm just lazy, but I don't have the dedication to it. I run out of steam, and instead of it becoming a joy, it becomes a burden. And as soon as something stops becoming a joy and starts becoming a burden, I just check in with that. And I love it when other people can do and stay through to the end of the maximalist look, but it's just not me. I love looking at it, but I don't want to do that because I run out of steam. Okay. Dylan Rivers says, last year I was so overwhelmed that I put up a 9-foot inflatable Christmas tree in my living room. I love that. What a great idea. Yeah. And see, notice some other people are laughing and saying, I love that idea. You know what? Because you guys, we're on TikTok, right? Talk about a visual comparison to not living up to what other people are doing. Look at their house. They look great. It's all wonderful. Look at all that. Reconsider that kind of stuff. Pay attention to what makes you feel better. And I bet you would much rather feel better and have everybody happy and healthy, as opposed to stressed out. So just think about that. Approaching the holidays differently, even now a few days before. You can change things at a moment's notice. Okay? Yeah. And Winnie Wood was saying, I worked in retail too, 22 plus years now, and the season is trampled by the retail world. Always has been. Always has been, because you know what? Somebody's out there making money off of us wanting to just feel love for one another. Because we forget that is a gift you can give for free. Wouldn't you much rather be able to give somebody a hug? If you can't give them a hug, then you send them, a Whitman sampler or something like that. But a hug, wouldn't that be better? Some quality time with somebody. To be like, I don't know, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go out for coffee. I don't need a scarf. I don't need this. Why don't you sit with me? Sit with Grandma and listen to her stories. Because Grandma's not going to be around for a while. Love the people in your life while they're here. And while they are who they are. Because Grandma could be in your life for the next 20 years, but maybe her mind is failing. So hang out with the people you have in your life while they're here and where they are. Okay? The Results Slayer is saying setting daily intentions to feel good. And also to just be mindful of your own energy. And your own energy, as I say that, I'm kind of putting my hand on my heart because I'm thinking of, kind of your nervous system, being activated, being crabby or happy or full of love and all this, but also your physical energy. Like today, like we just came home, so I'm still getting back in the swing of things. And every day, your energy is going to be different. But what you can do is you can be mindful of it. You can do things to change it. Take a nap, take a breather, get some space. And you can plan what you do and how you do it accordingly. Okay? Yeah, Erin is saying right now, paring it down this year. Yeah, paring it down. Paring it down to the essentials, like peeling off what doesn't work for anybody. And you can have done different things. Every year you can do something different. That can be your tradition. What worked for you before, if it worked and it brought you joy, feel free to repeat it. Repeat what brings you joy. But notice what doesn't and be okay with letting that go. A lot of clients I have are talking about how Christmas ornaments, Christmas decor brings up emotions. And you know why? Interesting thing is, think about it. This is the one time of year where we willingly bring out what we have packed away, both metaphorically and really. The stuff we bring out once a year, and this is once a year. Maybe you couldn't deal with it last year, so you packed it away, and now this is the time to bring it out again. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, everybody. And it is bittersweet. It's like Charlie Brown being like, I don't know why, Linus, I'm just not in the spirit. I get it. It's commercialism, even though I like myself a ding, 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 like a Christmas, a tinsel tree. It really all is about love for yourself and for other people. Okay? Yeah, Winnie Wu was saying, right, my 97-year-old mother-in-law just passed away on December 2nd, and the family is really struggling. You know why? Because they love her. They loved her. They love her in their hearts, but she physically is gone. And that's going to be a challenge. Give each other extra hugs. Be extra gentle. Cook some good foods. Make yourself feel better. The solution isn't out in the mall. It's in here. Okay. Janet is saying, best answer if you move something 3 times to get rid of it, how to develop storage. Question if you need the storage. If you're moving something, have a conversation with yourself about what you have and why you're keeping it. Here's a fun thing I like to play with, because I like to talk about things in a like a road trip and a driving kind of metaphor, is think about being at a traffic light. You've got 3 options. So you have a traffic light in you. Just practice with these 3 options. Is it green? Yes, I love it. I want to keep it. Is it red? No, I don't like it. I can let it go. Or is it yellow? And if it's yellow, yellow is a temporary state. Yellow means I need to think about this more because organically I'm not even going left or right. So I need to sit and I need to think about it. And then ask myself, is this item giving me the feeling I want in my life? You know? There we go. Country Fences says, we opened presents over the weekend because I was done with all the pressure of Christmas and anxiety. Yeah. No wonder we drink so much during the Christmas season. Me, not saying you, but you know what? A lot of the pressure, we need to relieve the pressure. So I love how you flipped the traditions on your head and said, we're going to do it this weekend. There we go. I love it. You know, Tricycle's saying, I usually am a Grinch, but I'm really into it this year. Awesome. We have old sentimental items in decor. Yeah, the sentimental items in decor. Notice that the ones you like are the ones that probably tell you a story you like, about a time in your life, about a person who you used to know, or a tradition you had, or where you got it. The sentimental items at the holidays make you feel a feeling. Make sure that they are good feelings. If they aren't, maybe you can release those things and set them free to someplace else where somebody doesn't know the backstory and can just love the item for what it is. Okay? Oh, Janet is saying, thank you so much. That's why I'm thinking of things. I'm moving through times. It's because of you. You're welcome. Because this is what I love doing what I'm doing. Now, it was funny. I'll share this with you because, I don't know, I like to share stories. So I was interviewed recently for another thing that I used to do in my life. And the woman, when she found out I was a decluttering life coach, she's like, oh, tell me more. And she pitched a feature to me, or a story about me to somebody, an editor she knows at the AARP magazine. Now, being a Gen Xer, I'm railing against the fact that I'm even as of a AARP age. And the woman got a decline about interviewing me, and I'm totally cool with that. I really am. Because she said, you know what, maybe if she had more followers and blah, 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 she was doing something revolutionary. And she said, and I'm going to paraphrase, like, it just sounds to me like she's a life coach doing life coach things. And I was like, you know what, you're right, I am. But I'm cool with that. Because to me, I don't want the scale of a huge following and all that traps it. I love stuff to feel just right. And I love hearing, like that Janet says, I'm doing this thing differently and it's feeling good because of what I heard from you. And so what I want to say to you is, it doesn't have to be big and glamorous. It can be small and meaningful. You know, Ann S is saying, keep what's meaningful, full of meaning to you. Get rid of the trappings that are just trendy decor. Of course, people on TikTok and Pinterest and Etsy and all those things that make money from you buying the trendy decor, they're going to discourage you from doing that. They're going to say, oh, that looks dated. That doesn't fit. But man, oh man, don't you have a story about an ornament made out of popsicle sticks? Or pipe cleaners and like a little hat that was made out of something from like an acorn and some pipe cleaners and some googly eyes? We're not machines. We respond to those kinds of things. Okay? Yeah, and Tricycle is saying our holiday is very tradition-centered. I do have decor I never use, but I need to get rid of it. There we go, So notice that. Notice that you even say, and even now this week, honestly, so my husband is putting up the Christmas lights around the house because that's more his thing. After this and after I do some coaching, I will go down the basement where we have our stuff stored and I will pull up the few things. And even last year, I'm a different person than I was last year. You are too. Maybe some things I put out last year, I find a different place to present them. Maybe this time I'm like, you know what? I never put those out. They always remain in the basket or the tote. Maybe this year is the time that I just lovingly say goodbye to them, And it is about the story. And it's about the story because we as humans, we process things in our brains, in our hearts, to understand ourselves and the world around us. We tell ourselves stories. And I want you to remind yourself that the stories that you tell yourself of the times you succeeded, of the good times you had, those will encourage you to do more things. The story you tell yourself of, we can do more with less. I went on one of these like tours of like a fancy resort because they said, you know, it's like a timeshare thing. It was like, oh, go on the tour, and if you sign, you'll get like a free something at the end. And I was able to, because I've coached myself so much and really realized how much I know myself better, to realize what works for me and what doesn't. They were trying to push us to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I was like, dudes, no, you don't get it. Like, we, husband and me, we can have so much more fun and spend so much less money than the money here. And it felt so good to know that what feels right, you know, and it is the little things, you know. It's just so fun when you get to learn about yourself more. And to me, I was like, all I need is like the ocean and some trees and some, like, I'm looking at a thing right now, ocean, palm trees, warmth, sun, and a place in the shade, and a place, like, something to eat, something to drink, and a place to go to the bathroom. I'm pretty much all set. Maybe a book. Definitely a book. But even if I didn't have the book, I could just sit there and feel cool, right? So, oh, there we go. A reindeer made of Scotch tape and a toilet paper roll. Yes. Yeah, Katie is saying, yes, I have different tastes than last year, you know? And yeah, spending time and not money. Now, I will be doing these ton of TikTok lives. I feel like this week is a little bit different from everything because we're all in it, right? We're all in this holiday season. And to really kind of wake up to the fact that we have so much more of it under our control, and it's reminding yourself of how you want to feel this season. And it may need to, I may need to do this on an hourly basis. If I'm on a phone call with somebody, or something happens externally, or there's a kerfuffle, like, how do I want to feel? And I want to feel good. I want to feel appreciative. And the reason is because I have fewer Christmases ahead of me than I do behind me. I don't expect to live to be 114, so I'm just doing math, people. I'm not being all tragic. I'm doing math. I'm 57 years old. This will be my 57th Christmas, 56th. I can't remember how you do it. I have fewer Christmases ahead of me than I do behind me. I want to make every single one of them count. I know that there are people in my life right now, I'm getting choked up thinking about it, may not be around next Christmas. So what can I do for them this Christmas? We don't know when anybody's going to go, including ourselves. So why not take the time to say, oh my gosh, what's important to me now? Instead of waiting for your deathbed, pretend you were on your deathbed now. And look back and say, what did I want to feel that Christmas? And I bet it's love. Yeah. And even if it's not external love from somebody else, start loving yourself. Okay? All right? Some other folks are saying, even the holiday season, I don't want things for gifts. I want food and family time. See, isn't that great? I love that. I mean, people who make money off of the external trappings are going to be pissed at me, but we're such a small, cool amount of people that we're probably not going to disrupt the Great Eastern Syndicate, you know? There we go. I changed my Discord with the weather 4 times a year here in the Midwest, new place every season. There you go. Yeah, Janet, I realized, so I'm from the East Coast, and I really realized in this chapter of my life, I like to be warm places during cold seasons, but I also like it when there's a season. Oh, funny, Barefoot Eclectic saying, I want to be cleaning while you were here, but I have to sew right now. That's great, you can sew. Do some things. I want to offer this to you guys too. So I'm on for like another 12 minutes, and I hop off to do an afternoon of coaching and probably Christmas decorating. But I am going to be doing TikTok lives every day this week, Monday through Friday. No, Monday. Today started Tuesday. Okay? And I'm flipping through. There's actually I posted it. I wrote it to myself. I'm such a goof. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm doing a TikTok live. So if you need a respite, if you need to just chill and get away from it all, you know how good it feels when you're in the mall and there's all that chaos going on and you just find a quiet place to sit? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just need to get away from people. I don't know. And after being at a resort for the week, I do realize how much I need my away time to kind of recuperate. So I want to offer you that respite, that quiet place to just come and chill and remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. And it might change what you're doing. It might just change the way you feel about what you're doing. And I want you to think about, what can you do how that you can just feel it better. What thought can you think that makes you feel a different feeling, that makes you feel better? You know? Notice that. Oh, so Paula J is saying, curious point. Been told I get attached to things due to the stories and memories attached to them. Yeah, you do. Many of us do. Few people don't, but many do. You know what? Curious point? Yeah, get curious about that. Paula, I would say this. Get curious about the stories your things are telling you. And if your things are telling you, like pretend they had almost like a wind-up little thing. You know, you tied it up and it came out with the story that the thing reminds you of. Is it telling you a good story? Is it telling you a story you want to remember? Is it telling you a useful story? What is it telling you? And decide if you want that story in your life or not. You know? Oh, well, there we go. Andrea was saying, wow, I was just thinking I needed to see some of your vids for motivation, and here you are. Oh, it's a Christmas miracle, as I say year round. You know? We all tell ourselves stories. We are humans. We are not robots. You sign up for my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you something. I got these little stickers for people on the mailing list. I just forgot. They came in the mail when we were away. But anyhow, I digress. Destination Decluttered mailing list. You get on that. No, that's not what I was going to say. But we all tell ourselves stories. We are not robots. That's where I started. When you sign up for the mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com, you check a box that says, I am not a robot. We are humans. For the entirety of our existence on this planet, we have communicated with each other and reminded ourselves of what is important by telling ourselves and others stories. And think about the stories you tell yourself about your life, about your clutter, about your stuff, about yourself. And if you don't like what you're hearing, quiet it down. Say, shh. I'm going to tell myself this story about the time that I, had a great year of coaching, that I did something I was afraid to do, even though at the same time my skin was getting wrinkly and my ass was getting bigger. Tell yourself better stories. You can be an awesome person. Whatever it is, quiet down and turn the volume down on the stories that are not making you feel good, and turn up the stories that make you feel good about yourself. Because when you think better and feel better, you're going to do better. Okay? So just notice that. Somebody's asking about the TikTok lives. The times are different, but I'm helping you out with this. On my Destination Decluttered, on the main page for my Destination Decluttered page, there is a pinned video. There's 3 videos on the top, and one of them is pinned. In big red letters, it says TikTok live schedule from the 11th to the 22nd. Now the 22nd is what? Friday? Yeah, so it'll show the times. I mean, it's Tuesday, that's today. Yeah, I should have read this. Here's the funny thing. Some of you were here earlier when I signed on, and signed on totally at the wrong time. It was good that I signed off because I had to pee. Wednesday, tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Thursday, the 21st, 8 a.m. And Friday, December 22nd, 9 a.m. All that's Eastern time. I apologize. Usually I'm laughing at Ruthie says, did you just say I die Greg? Yes, I do, because Greg cracks me up. Usually I try to do some TikTok lives for people on the West Coast as well, so that typically means later in the evening. It's not working out this week, but just know this about me, is every week my schedule is different. I love that about my life, so I cultivate that more. As soon as something gets too regimented, I start to feel like this whole do not fence me in thing. So I keep it flexible. Like next week, today is going to be the day after Christmas. A week from today is the day after Christmas, people. And so do I want to be doing a TikTok live at 9 a.m.? I don't know. Let me figure out what works for me, and I will keep you in the loop. Okay? There we go. Erin says, was going to put on a YouTube channel on while decorating, but you popped up live. It's a Festivus miracle. Yes, Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, and I will say, Erin, I will be only on for, and I know you've been on for a little bit, but just for the folks that have just tuned in, I am Beth, Destination Decluttered, hanging out with you, giving you a break from the chaos of the holidays, and pretty much every day to remind yourself of what's important to you. And if I say remind yourself and you're like, I don't even know what's important to me, grab yourself a cheapo notebook from Staples, sit down quietly. Literally, you know what a really great place to be quiet is? Your car. Talk about another Destination Decluttered, road trip metaphor. If you want to get away from the chaos, pretend you're going out Christmas shopping and then go sit in your car in a parking lot somewhere. Put on earbuds, pretend you're listening, or you're on a call If, and just sit there with yourself and say, okay, what is it in that mall that's going to bring me happiness? Anything? Maybe not. Maybe just sitting here with myself and saying, this is how old I am. This is where I'm at in my life. What do I like? Let's keep more of it. What am I not so keen on? Let's change that. Okay. Robin says, I'm loving your live. Do you have any advice for working with people who hoard? Yes, I do. In all sincerity, professional help. Professional help. And I mean that by professional mental health, trained mental health professionals, because hoarding is it is a diagnosis of the DSM-5. So that means that there are trained mental health professionals who can help people with trauma-based hoarding. I am a certified life coach, and I do coaching with one-on-one people. I am probably not the best help for somebody like that. I know my limits, and I know that there are people out there who are able to safely and with training get into the deep psychological things that happen with people with hoarding. I help collectors like nobody's business. I help regular folks who have too much of this and too much of that, but there is help out there for people. Okay. Ross Men is saying, my guest rooms are like storage rooms. Okay. My kids are supposed to come home for Christmas. Have them come home for Christmas. Maybe you go through some of that stuff with them. Maybe you don't. You push the things aside. But how about this? Noticing that you're doing the unhappy face when you're saying, oh shit, my guest rooms are storage rooms, and I'm being reminded of this at Christmas when my kids are coming home. How about next year, 2024, after the chaos of this holiday season, I will be here. I'm going to be here for you for the New Year's resolutions and the daily little bits of help that you need to get where you're going. Okay? So push the stuff aside. Maybe have a conversation with your kids, everybody. Have a conversation with the people in your life about the stuff that you're saving for them or the stuff you're buying for them. Do they even need any more stuff? Are you actually, are you still, adding more clutter to somebody else's life? If you are, just notice that. See if they want it. If you're on the receiving end, be grateful and thankful that somebody's thinking of you. But notice this, okay? And user 8274 says, even if my house is cluttered, I keep my car neat and tidied. It makes me feel like I have potential. And it does, because if you can keep your car neat and tidy, you can keep your house neat and tidy too. Okay? Notice that the car is just a smaller place to have habits of picking up the stuff every time you leave. Maybe you just even start with the front. Maybe you start with the driver's seat, the most important seat. And then you say, okay, in the front seat, I'm going to do this. And then you work on the back seat and you do happy. There we go. Oh, Lori Hannah. That's so nice. Lori's one of my one-on-one clients, and she just said personal coaching is making a huge difference for me. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. It really means a lot, because I do this because I see the potential. I know what it's like to be on the other side, and I am so loving and patient because I know it can seem so scary and overwhelming and different to not know what's happening next, but I've been there myself and with other clients, so I am there with you. Patience and love and curiosity and going at a pace that feels right to you. And Lori, I'm not just talking to you, but everybody. Have love and patience and kindness for yourself. Start on this journey towards feeling better about your home and your stuff, and work at a pace that feels right to you. The worst thing you can do is to not do anything, but the best thing you can do is even just take one little step. Okay? So I want to offer this to you before I sign off. I'm going to sign off in like a minute, 1 whole minute. But even if I do this, if I sign off in a minute before the clock turns to top of the hour, just spend that minute asking yourself, what do I want my home and life to look like? What do I want it to feel like? And then follow it up with, I can do something about that. Because you can. Every single one of us has done so much more harder stuff in life than figuring out what to do with some stuff that we got from Target. Okay? So I will see you all tomorrow. If you want to join up on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, I wasn't going into like any of this kind of stuff, but destinationdecluttered.com. A lot of good stuff there. I do one-on-one coaching. I will look and see what these next 2 weeks look like. If it feels right if anybody, how about this? If you're on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, or if you think you would like to get a consultation, get on my mailing list, send me an email, and we will make that happen. Okay? Sound good? All right, y'all. I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, December 20th, 10:30 a.m. I'm saying that to me as well as you. That's where I'm showing up. All right, you got this. You can do this. Bye. Yeah, bye.